Welcome to my channel. Do you remember the first time you said something in English? Not in your head, but out loud? I remember mine very clearly. It was one short sentence, and it changed everything. I didn't speak like a native speaker. I didn't even feel confident. But something clicked. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. It was the start of everything. Today, I will tell you the full story, how I went from zero to that first sentence, and more importantly, I will show you how you can do it too. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The day I knew I had to speak. I still remember the room. It was small, cold, and quiet, except for the sound of my heartbeat. I was sitting across from a man in a suit. He smiled, opened a folder, and asked, "So, tell me about yourself," in English. And I froze. My mind went completely blank. I had prepared so much for this job interview. My CV was perfect. My grammar was strong. I could write long emails, read news articles, even score high on English tests. But now, I couldn't say a single sentence. Not one. My mouth opened, but no words came out. The silence felt like it lasted forever. I tried to think of something, anything, to say. But all I could hear in my head was noise, panic, fear, embarrassment. Finally, I whispered, "Sorry. My English speaking, not good." He smiled politely, but I knew I had already lost the chance. I walked out of that office and sat on the stairs outside. My hands were shaking. My face was hot. I felt angry at myself. I knew the answers. I just couldn't say them. And that was the day I understood something very clearly. Reading and writing are not enough. I have to speak. I thought about all the time I had spent studying English, filling notebooks with vocabulary, watching grammar videos, translating long texts. But in real life, when it was time to speak, none of that helped. That day was my turning point. I started remembering all the small moments before that. At the airport, when the officer asked me a question and I had to repeat, "Sorry?" 3 times. In class, when the teacher asked for opinions and I stayed silent, even though I had something to say. On a call with a customer from another country, I passed the phone to someone else. Each time I told myself, "It's okay, I'll learn more and speak later." But later never came, until that interview, until I sat on those stairs, too embarrassed to look anyone in the eye. That pain, that shame, it wasn't just about English. It was about confidence, about being stuck in my own mind, full of words, but unable to let them out. And that's when I made a promise to myself. This will not happen again. I will learn to speak. I don't know how yet, but I will speak. This chapter in my life, the day I knew I had to speak, changed everything. I stopped waiting for the perfect time. I stopped hiding behind textbooks. I knew I had a big problem, and I was ready to face it. But how? How do you go from frozen silence to confident speech? How do you stop the fear, the panic, the self-doubt? I didn't have the answers yet, but I was ready to find them. And that journey, the journey from silence to speech, starts in the next chapter. Because I discovered something powerful, something simple, and it changed everything. Chapter 2. My Silent Practice. Before speaking out loud, after that painful job interview, I didn't go straight to speaking in English. I wasn't ready. Honestly, I was still afraid. But I also knew one thing. I couldn't stay silent forever. So I started practicing. Quietly. Not in front of people, not on a stage. Just me, in my room with my phone, my notebook, and my voice. Low and shy at first. I remember the very first thing I did. I opened YouTube and searched Easy English Conversations. I found a short video, 2 people talking in slow English. One said, "Hi, how are you?" The other replied, "I'm good. How about you?" I listened. Then I listened again. And then I whispered the words to myself, "Hi, how are you? I'm good. How about you?" Again, and again, and again. At first, it felt silly. I was just sitting alone, copying voices from a screen. But it didn't feel like studying. It felt like something else, something real. Like training my mouth to move in a new way. I wasn't just learning English. I was learning to speak it. Every night before bed, I had a routine. I would put in my earphones, play short videos with subtitles, and listen. Not once, many times. Then I'd try to repeat the sentences silently in my head. Sometimes I would mouth the words, no sound, just movement, like an actor practicing lines in front of a mirror. Little by little, I started whispering the sentences. Not loud, just loud enough to hear myself. It felt safe. No one was watching. No one was judging. One night I discovered something called shadowing. It was simple. You listen to someone speaking English, and you repeat the words at the same time, like an echo. At first, it felt impossible. The speaker moved fast. I missed words. I got confused, but I didn't stop. I chose an easy video, a travel vlogger speaking slowly. "I'm walking through the market today. The food smells amazing." I played the video again. I hit pause, rewind, play. Again and again, I tried to follow. And then, one night, it happened. I was shadowing a simple sentence. "I'm going to get some coffee." And when I repeated it, something was different. It sounded like real English. Not perfect, but real. The rhythm, the flow, the sound. I froze. I smiled. I said it again. "I'm going to get some coffee." It felt so small, but to me, it was a victory. From that moment on, I took silent practice seriously. Every morning, I'd listen to short English dialogues while brushing my teeth. During walks, I'd repeat words in my head. In the evening, I'd whisper full conversations in my room. Sometimes I'd read children's books out loud, slowly, clearly, not to study grammar, just to hear myself say English words without fear. My favorite part of the day became that quiet hour before sleep. whispering stories, repeating phrases, building my voice. No one heard me, but I was growing. And here's what I learned. Speaking English doesn't start with speaking out loud. It starts with listening, copying, whispering, mouthing words when no one is watching. It starts in silence. If you're scared to speak English, that's okay. You don't have to start big. You can start quietly, just like I did. Because that silent practice, it gave me something more valuable than perfect grammar. It gave me confidence. And soon I was ready, not to be perfect, but to try. Chapter 3. The moment I spoke. My first English sentence. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was standing in line at a coffee shop. It wasn't planned. I didn't think, today I will speak English. But the moment came, and I had to decide. There was a man at the counter, smiling, friendly. He looked at me and said, "Hi, what can I get for you?" My heart jumped. I froze. For half a second, I wanted to run. My brain knew what he said. I understood every word. But my mouth wouldn't move. My body tensed. My hands started shaking. My heart beat faster. Say it, I thought. Just say it. And I did. I took a breath and said, "Can I have a coffee, please?" That was it. 6 words. "Can I have a coffee, please?" Not perfect. My voice was soft, a little shaky, but I said it, out loud, to a real person. And the best part? He smiled and said, "Sure. 1 coffee coming up." He understood me, and I couldn't believe it. That moment changed everything. After I spoke, I walked outside with my coffee, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Pride. I didn't care that it was a small sentence. To me, it was huge. It was proof. I could speak. I had practiced in silence for weeks, whispering words, shadowing videos, repeating sentences to myself. And now, for the first time, those words came out. Not in my room, not in my head, in the real world. Was I nervous afterward? Yes. My hands were still shaking. My voice had been quiet. But I smiled all the way home. Because now I knew it's not about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking once. Then again, then again. Small steps, not big jumps. The second time I spoke, it was a short conversation with a tourist on the street. He asked for directions. I said, "Go straight, then turn left." The third time I said, "Have a nice day," to someone in the elevator. Each time I felt less afraid. Each time I felt more free. So if you're listening right now and you're scared to speak, I understand. But let me tell you something important. You don't need to speak perfectly. You don't need to speak for 5 minutes. You just need 1 sentence, 1 small moment. That's the beginning. Here's what I want you to try. Practice silently. Listen to short English phrases. Repeat them in your mind. Whisper them at night. Pick 1 sentence, a simple one you like. Maybe, "Can I have some water?" "How are you today?" "Where's the bus stop?" 1. Say it to yourself first, then say it out loud, alone. 2. Then, when you're ready, try it with someone, at a shop, a cafe, a stranger, a friend. That's it. 1 sentence. The first step is the hardest, but once you take it, the next ones come easier. I started with 1 coffee order. Today, I'm telling my story in English, and you can do it too. If you're watching this and thinking, I'm scared to speak, I understand. I really do. Because I was there too. Frozen. Silent. Unsure. But here's the truth. If I can do it, you can do it too. You don't need to speak for 10 minutes. You don't need perfect grammar or a big vocabulary. You just need to start. Start small. Practice in silence. Whisper to yourself. Then, one day, say just 1 sentence. Just 1. That's how it starts. That's how it started for me. And if this helped you, if you felt something, subscribe to my channel for more real stories, simple tips, and support on your English journey. Like this video if you believe that speaking English is possible, even if you're just beginning. And leave a comment below. Tell me the first English sentence you ever said, or the 1 sentence you're waiting to say. Let's support each other. Let's keep learning